One call can change the trajectory of a workday for any county fire crew member, and that was certainly the case August 29th.
I had just arrived at the Napomo fire station.
I was in my truck out in front of the station and the call came in.
Medic engine 72, one engine from Guadalupe, engine 333, medical aid, subject stuck in the machine.
It was a mulching machine with rotating arms in it and a big auger. Those rotating arms have huge spikes on it.
It had the appearance of potentially two things: an extremely dynamic rescue and recovery or a gruesome body recovery.
I thought we were going to be a body recovery. I'll be honest with you, it didn't sound good.
Ryan Gobler and his partner were first to arrive on scene.
Engineer Doerner, who is also a paramedic, I poked my head in and here's this gentleman who's crushed up to his waist, looking at me, asking for help.
I listened to the report on condition from Medic Engine 72, who said that they had a viable patient. That's extra motivating.
The story I was told is that he was jumping in to help clean some of the debris out. His buddy or co-worker didn't know he was in, heard the machine that was off, went and turned it back on while he was inside.
Doing a patient assessment was challenging because the patient had effectively been pulled into the mulcher and much of his body was under the materials left in the machine from the day before.
I don't have a clear view of what's going on yet, but I don't notice any blood.
We could just see the top of his thighs, and that was about the best look we can get.
For me, as a paramedic, how do I save this person's life, or how do I keep him alive? Just leaning over, not getting in the auger just yet because I didn't want to cause any more trauma or damage. He's starting to scream, "Hey, get me out of here. Get me out of here." And you can see the look of terror in his eyes.
Obviously, we have to secure the machinery so we protect ourselves and the patient.
The task at hand was overwhelming.
How we're going to cut all this stuff out to get him out. And once we get him out, how do we keep him alive? Because of the arms and that auger that crushed him up to its waist, you know? So that causes cellular death. And once you release that, it releases a bunch of toxins into the system that can kill you fairly quickly.
Amazingly, Fire Captain Erin Riffle had just attended a training on machinery rescues. He put all he learned into practice.
I literally took that class last year, so I already had a game plan.
It really made things easy. I made him our rescue group supervisor, and he was able to coordinate all of the intricacies of the extrication, the extraction, and the cutting, and the torch work.
I heard our chief asking for all these resources, and I knew at least they're coming.
I requested a trauma surgeon to the scene for a potential field amputation. I've never done that. In a 36-year career in this business, I never thought that that would be a part of my repertoire, but that's what we potentially were gonna need.
There were so many factors going against a successful outcome. Blood loss, panic settling in for the victim, the inaccessibility to the patient, and a far from sterile environment surrounding such traumatic injuries.
We always practice like a primary, alternative, contingency, and emergency plans, because sometimes your primary action plan doesn't work. So you have to go to that next option, and then hopefully you never get to your emergency plan, which would have been those trauma doctors.
When we talk about PACE, really for the most part, we're looking at plans A, B, C, and D, continually monitoring the plans and being able to have trigger points to know when to go to plan B or plan C.
Quickly, they had duties divided between a rescue team, a rigging team, and a medical team. But every option presented challenges.
We were still waiting for all the specialty tools to come that we don't normally carry on a fire truck.
He started kind of bucking around, screaming, acting, and we had those IVs established, large bore IVs, and I didn't want him to rip those out. Engineer Gertz jumped, we kind of let him in real carefully, and he started very carefully, not to put any weight on that auger, remove all the mulch so we could see, because we knew we are talking about we need to get tourniquets on, right? Just to make sure we're not losing any blood loss, because we really couldn't see the bottom of them.
Mercy's ship was down, their airship was down that day. Our EMS battalion chief responded to the Paso airport, picked up the Mercy flight nurse and paramedic with the blood products, and drove them code 3 to the incident. And looking at the potential crush injuries of this patient, we were planning to transport this patient with the auger into the ambulance and then onto the airship.
But with the weight of the auger and the complications that introduced, they opted to try to free the victim from the machine. The next challenge, cutting the pieces of metal embedded into the victim's body.
And so now with the cutting, we have to have water because we don't want to put the mulch on fire.
You don't want that heat to transfer to the patient. So you have to cool everything as you're cutting. So we kind of cut, take a break, spray it down, cool everything down, make sure those embers aren't catching on fire beneath him.
This was a 3-hour extrication, so a lot happened in this 3 hours. He did eventually wake up. He ripped all his IVs out, was now screaming in pain, and we thought, oh, here we go, now we have to start back over again, right from square one. But now I've got a needle, I'm drilling this into his arm, because now that's our access, because he's ripped everything out.
About the 3-hour mark for me, I was anxious. I was getting anxious. It still took about another hour.
Once we get the auger into pieces and the rotating into pieces, we pull him out, and now we have a rigging system because we have to take him by rope. We got him out of there onto the backboard. Again, and now his vitals, his heart rate is starting to gone down, his blood pressure has gone way down. Now we're getting like, uh-oh.
When we lifted him up out of the mulcher and brought him out over onto the gurney, our 3 engine assessment paramedics handed that patient off to 2 flight nurses and 2 flight medics with blood products, RSI capabilities, and a higher level of medical care.
When they got him in the back of the ambulance, I took a deep breath. In my mind, I was like, please be alive. I walked up, I just said, how's his vitals? That's all I really was thinking about that point. They said vitals are stable. And I thought, okay, we can work with that.
I had a gentleman standing with me most of the time during this incident. The gentleman ended up being the gentleman who pushed the button to start the auger. So it's a little emotional for me, but a lot of the times he was crying. So I spent some time with him. When I had time, I was right there with him, just kind of going, he's alive. There's about 40 of the employees who are outside of our circle, this is their family member, this is their coworker, this is their friend. So everybody's experiencing this.
The chief did a short debrief with the crew, then spent an hour with employees of the facility where it happened, doing the same. It was a multifaceted, multi-agency effort that worked.
It was pretty special to see it all happen and to see that kind of multi-discipline, multi-agency, regionalized response. And we're pulling this guy out of a mulcher alive after 4 hours.
And then the crews who pulled off this rescue went back into service, awaiting their next call. And then go back to work?
Yeah, yep. Carried on with the rest of the day.
And the patient, weeks later, walked out of Cottage Hospital, all because
they stuck to the plan. We had true fire service professionals that knew exactly what they were doing and how to go about their process.
I felt like we had done something positive, collectively.
That's why we're here. We are here as public servants to help people, right? That's why we come to work, truly. Most of us come to work to truly serve, to truly be a public servant. And that day, that is serving with the ultimate outcome.